Earthquakes, how they form, measure, and cause damage. Earthquakes are natural disasters that can have devastating consequences for communities. They are caused by the movement of tectonic plates, which make up the Earth's crust. Understanding how earthquakes form, how they're measured, and what conditions can cause them to cause damage is crucial in helping to prepare and protect against their effects. Earthquakes are caused by the release of energy stored within the Earth's crust. The energy is stored in the form of elastic strain in rocks and other materials, and is released when these materials suddenly break or slip. The sudden movement of the Earth's crust creates seismic waves, which travel through the Earth and can cause ground shaking. There are two main types of earthquakes: tectonic earthquakes, which are caused by the movement of tectonic plates, and man-made earthquakes, which are caused by human activities such as underground mining or the injection of fluids into the Earth. Earthquakes are measured using a device called a seismometer. Seismometers detect the ground motion caused by seismic waves, and this data is used to calculate the magnitude of the earthquake. The magnitude of an earthquake is a measure of its energy release and is expressed on the Richter scale. The Richter scale ranges from 1 to 10, with higher numbers indicating larger earthquakes. When earthquakes occur, they can cause damage in a number of ways. Ground shaking is one of the most common causes of damage, and it can cause buildings, bridges, and other structures to collapse. Tsunamis, which are large waves caused by the movement of the ocean floor during earthquakes, can also cause significant damage and loss of life. Landslides and rockfalls can also be triggered by earthquakes, and these can cause damage to buildings, roads, and other infrastructure. To prepare for earthquakes, it is important to understand the potential dangers and to take steps to protect against their effects. This can include building structures that are designed to withstand ground shaking, having emergency plans in place, and knowing what to do during an earthquake. It's also important to be informed about the risk of earthquakes in your area and to stay informed about any updates or warnings. In conclusion, earthquakes are complex natural disasters that can have serious consequences for communities. Understanding how they form, how they're measured, and what conditions can cause them to cause damage is crucial in helping to prepare and protect against their effects. By taking steps to prepare and stay informed, we can help to reduce the impact of earthquakes on our communities. The 10 largest earthquakes in recorded history. The Great Chilean Earthquake, 1960, magnitude 9.5. The Great Chilean Earthquake is the largest earthquake in recorded history, with a magnitude of 9.5. It struck the coast of Chile on May 22, 1960, and caused widespread damage and loss of life. The earthquake caused a tsunami that affected coastlines as far away as Hawaii and Japan, causing additional damage and loss of life. The Good Friday Earthquake, 1964, magnitude 9.2. The Good Friday earthquake struck Alaska on March 27, 1964, with a magnitude of 9.2. The earthquake caused widespread damage, including the destruction of several towns and the formation of several new islands. It also caused a tsunami that affected the coastlines of Alaska and British Columbia, causing additional damage and loss of life. The Sumatra Andaman Earthquake, 2004, magnitude 9.1. The Sumatra Andaman earthquake struck the Indian Ocean on December 26, 2004, with a magnitude of 9.1. The earthquake caused a tsunami that affected coastlines in 14 countries, causing widespread damage and loss of life. It is estimated that over 230,000 people were killed by the tsunami and the earthquake. The Tohoku Earthquake, 2011, magnitude 9.0. The Tohoku earthquake struck Japan on March 11, 2011, with a magnitude of 9.0. The earthquake caused widespread damage, including the failure of several nuclear reactors. It also caused a tsunami that affected the coastlines of Japan, causing additional damage and loss of life. It is estimated that over 15,000 people were killed by the earthquake and the tsunami. The Kamchatka Earthquake, 1952, magnitude 9.0. The Kamchatka earthquake struck the Kamchatka Peninsula in the Soviet Union on November 4, 1952, with a magnitude of 9.0. The earthquake caused widespread damage, including the collapse of several buildings. It also caused a tsunami that affected the coastlines of the Kamchatka Peninsula and the Kuril Islands, causing additional damage and loss of life. The Great Alaskan Earthquake, 1964, magnitude 9.0. The Great Alaskan Earthquake struck Alaska on March 28, 1964, with a magnitude of 9.0. The earthquake caused widespread damage, including the destruction of several towns. It also caused a tsunami that affected the coastlines of Alaska and British Columbia, causing additional damage and loss of life. The Southern Chile Earthquake, 1960, magnitude 9.0. The Southern Chile Earthquake struck Chile on May 23, 1960, with a magnitude of 9.0. The earthquake caused widespread damage and loss of life, and also triggered a tsunami that affected the coastlines of Chile and Argentina, causing additional damage and loss of life. The Assam Tibet Earthquake, 1950, magnitude 8.6. The Assam Tibet earthquake struck the border region between India and Tibet on August 15, 1950, with a magnitude of 8.6. The earthquake caused widespread damage and loss of life, and also triggered a landslide that caused additional damage and loss of life. The Off the West Coast of Northern Sumatra Earthquake, 2005, magnitude 8.6. The Off the West Coast of Northern Sumatra earthquake struck the Indian Ocean on March 28, 2005, with a magnitude of 8.6. The earthquake caused a tsunami that affected the coastlines of several countries, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The Kamchatka earthquake of 1923, with a magnitude of 8.5, struck the Kamchatka Peninsula in the Soviet Union on February 3, 1923. This earthquake caused significant damage and loss of life, particularly in the town of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. The earthquake also triggered a tsunami that affected the coastlines of the Kamchatka Peninsula and the Kuril Islands, causing additional damage and loss of life. This earthquake serves as a reminder of the destructive power of earthquakes and the importance of preparedness and mitigation measures to minimize their impact.